Come one, come all, come one. I can't really see what the hell is going on. We will try. It's not very clear, is it? Are we on? I think we're on. Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to the latest in Arabic news. Hello, our GoFundMe supporters. Hello, Patreon supporters. Hello, purchasers of the mug and pre-orderers of the book. Lovely to see everybody. It's probably late for you guys, Saturday night. Guitar Prophet, hey, I hope you're all out partying hard. So, we've got 5 updates. Pastora, hello. Satan says, and Pastora. We've got God and the devil, both here. So, we've got here 4 articles that we can go through. If Israel took Lebanon, would you care? I would be probably happier if Israel did have Lebanon. Actually, the original Lebanese government, which is now being protected in Israel by the Mossad, was the Christian militia government that once Israel left, that government was forced to leave and Hezbollah took over. So there you go. But you know, that's life. Okay, Egypt. We have a Luxor attack. Washington condemns the execution of a prominent Syrian activist. This is direct Arabic news. They don't have it in English, so I'm just sort of translating it for you guys. Hezbollah is the reason Lebanon is not Israel. Yeah, that's also true. That's also true. What's the solution? Well, everyone has a different solution. None of them are incompatible. None of them are compatible, and hence why we have what we have. I think humans in general are built in such a way that these things are always going to happen. If it wasn't Christianity, Islam, and Israel, it would be, you know, Bomsionity, Goslam, and Junreal. I mean, it's just the way humans are, but I don't want to waste your time. It's a very long conversation. So let's have a look at what's going on in Arabic news. All right. So Washington condemns the execution of a prominent Syrian activist. I'm using the website called irfa'sawtak.com, which is Arabic for raise your voice. It's a secular Arabic site, and if you search for it on Google, it's almost impossible to find for some reason. I don't know if that's a coincidence. Okay, so software engineer Basil Safadi was murdered, including torture, extrajudicial executions by the Syrian regime, supposedly. I've got time. What would you do? I think the problem is inherent in humanity. And until that changes, nothing's going to change. Once humans maybe evolve out of being humans, maybe we can look for a potential issue. But, you know, many sides of the argument are being supported by external forces. So I've spoken a lot about Hezbollah and why they're powerful and why it's understandable. I've spoken about them in last scopes, about how they were able to gather, you know, the Syrian religious minorities, most of Lebanese Christians, the Russians, Iranians, and part of its blowback from American, Anonymous, I like that, from American foreign policy. But you know, all of its blowback, if you want to go far back enough, if it wasn't for the what do you call it, the successful approach by Jefferson in the Barbary Wars, and that would have become part of American culture. I mean, all right, so here we are. This website is saying that he was the activist executed in 2015, 3 years after the Syrian regime arrested him. This is only one executed death sentence of prominent software engineer. That the words are in my mouth today. I announce my name and the death and the name of my family, Basil, confirming any new sentence execution of my husband. Okay, and we don't know why. It was in Arabic. Syrian engineer who was born to a Palestinian father and Syrian mother was arrested as part of a campaign of arrests by the regime to face peaceful protests a year after it broke. Well, that doesn't tell you that much, does it? Because a lot of people are arrested. Some of my family were arrested by the Syrian regime as well for being anti-Syrian and pro-Israel. So I don't think they're pro-Israel anymore. All right, that's the first article of the day. Next article, let's see what we got. Arabic. Masr is Egypt. Let's have a look at what's going on in Egypt. Alrighty. Alright, security alert after the Luxor attack. Let's have a look. Dozens arrested in Turkey. See, this is the things about Turkey I was talking about that has disappeared from mainstream news. Egyptian authorities announced on Friday security alerts in Luxor and Aswan, the Red Sea, South Sinai, include terrorist attractions in the wake of an armed attack on Thursday night. Can't put the radicals of all religion on a soccer field until they work it out. I believe we have. I believe it's called the Middle East. In the wake of an armed attack on Thursday night at a traffic point in the center of Esna, south of Luxor. So another armed attack in Egypt. A bomb, an explosive belt and 2 automatic rifles were found inside the car. They were passing a traffic point. So this is interesting. This is one thing that Americans don't yet know about, which is traffic points. In the Middle East, traffic points are as common as oxygen and all the other pollutants of oil and cigarettes and junk food. You basically have checkpoints of armed military at the edge of every suburb. Very common, very common. So you enter a Christian suburb, you enter a Sunni suburb, you enter a Shia suburb, you enter this tribe subset of the Shia, subset of the Christian, the Orthodox, the Catholic. You know, all these different places are all protected heavily by military. And that's basically where the West is headed at the moment, because the game is not being confined within the tennis courts of the Middle East. It's now spilled over. All right, so that's what's happening there. Interesting stuff. Hey, brothers here. All right, next one is غولان. All right, اعتقال. Okay, عشرات في تركيا. Okay, so the detaining of tens in Turkey بتهمة الانتماء لجماعة غولان. Okay, so in English, let's have a look what we got here. If anyone remembers the coup from last year, just give everyone couscous. That's probably what makes them angry in the first place. Damn this couscous! Your mother's is better. What you say about my mother? All right, Turkish authorities. So here, and this is interesting because you know, the current government in Turkey supports or has secretly been supporting ISIS. But at the same time, they're also allies with the US, so go figure. Turkish authorities on Friday issued decisions to arrest 59 people in 20 states. So they're doing exactly what Bashar al-Assad is accused of doing, which is arresting people and then executing them. It's the same thing in Turkey, but in Turkey it's okay, supposedly, because they're on the side of the US. They're suspected of belonging to the group of Fethullah Gulen. Fethullah Gulen is protected, I think, in Pennsylvania by the US government, and believes in a secular Turkey, and that's a problem. A liberal secular Turkey is a problem for the current Islamist government. So they also supported the Gay Pride Parade. See, you know, the only Gay Pride Parade that I support is the one in Turkey, because those people were massacred, and the ones in the US are on the side of the Turkish government. So to me, the ones in the US are corrupt, hypocritical, treacherous dogs, whereas the ones in Turkey are liberal brothers and sisters, at the moment anyway. All right, so the arrest of 24 police academics who they say were responsible for the police officers' admission exams in 2012. Hey, STP. So what they're doing now in Turkey is the police who were part of the coup last year, right? The officers that approved their exams to enter the force are now being arrested as well. At university, we're all friends. Then we're supposed to listen to idiot thugs. Yeah, I know. I don't get the logic, but you know, I don't think logic's involved in this case. But have a think about it. We think the West is bad. Imagine arresting the person who gave the exam to someone 5 years ago, because that is the connection, the level of connection they're going down now. For everyone to do with the coup, it's like a cancer. They're not just cutting out the cancer; they're cutting out the whole body, right? That's how they're treating it. And this doesn't make Western media at all, right? Pol Pot, bingo. Well, this is the Turkish Pol Pot now. They arrested 7 people in Sakarya for using the Beyluk application on mobile devices, which Ankara says is used only by the members of the Gulen group. Crazy, huh? Yeah, absolutely. Ankara-based Gulen accuses the US of orchestrating the coup attempt in July and has arrested tens of thousands of its followers. Tens of thousands of people, Milica Sada, tens of thousands of people were arrested. I spoke about this a few times. So there you go. That's the type of news that that I get on a daily basis. I'll give you the headlines of the rest. I won't go into them. Okay. I like you, but these religious wars are insane. I like you, and I agree that religious wars are insane. What can you do, right? I mean, those who know me know that, you know, every generation of mine for the last 1,000 years has had at least one entire family murdered by someone of some religion. Not limited to, and also including my father's sister and her baby boys and her husband were blown to pieces by Palestinian Islamic radicals. You know, so unfortunately, I'm at the point now when the pain is so deep, it doesn't matter how many times you stab it, you sort of don't know how to react anymore. And this trauma is passed on from generations. So, you know, the West is starting to learn about it now, and we're like, well, welcome aboard, children. Yeah. Yeah, I would say hundreds of thousands of us have been murdered so far. Basically, for every Maronite or every Syriac or every Armenian you meet, there's another 2 to 5 who were never born because their ancestors were murdered. And that's the mindset that we have from children up till now. And that's how we look at the world. So when we see the West, you know, or what's left of the West, yeah, as Milica Sada knows, right? We see what's left of the West sort of trying to figure out what's going on. We're sort of sitting here as who also suffered genocide. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm generalizing heavily, but the culture at the moment is still in its early stages about learning how to deal with it. Okay, so we have some other things that I've mentioned. If you want more detail on minorities like Yazidis and Christians returning now to Iraq after 1.5 million of them were massacred, I've got on in more detail. You can go to the Greater Syrio, Syrio Aramaic community, and that's where I put all the details about churches that are getting rebuilt, people who are begging the US to allow refugees to return to Iraq. A lot of hey man, hey Liran, hey everyone, Milica Sada. Iraqis want to return. They don't want to lose their heritage. Hey, you know, because there's a big difference mathematically between having 2 children and 8. 2 means that your population flatlines, whereas 4 children means your population doubles. It's a very big difference between 2 and 4 children, mathematically. Right? There are other Americans who love you, but we're in the minority. It tends to be the way, yes. I know, most people like watching cats falling off TV screens, which is sort of fun, I can imagine. Alright, so Cairo raises public transport prices. Bring that Hemi back to America. My friend, it's coming. A mass grave found in the west of Baghdad. And I will tell you a little bit about that one today. Okay, Iraqi authorities found a mass grave containing 40 people executed by Al-Qaeda in 2015 in the Anbar province of West Baghdad. And they were probably Shia, because West Baghdad was a lot of Shia people. Were shot dead 100 kilometers out of the capital. The bodies are fragmented and the effects of shooting in the head. Yeah, my uncle's going back. Oh, that's awesome. This is the thing, like, that's another thing that, you know, whether we like it or not, Trump hit on it, where safe zones is actually a form of Western occupation of the Middle East. It's genius. You know, if there was a safe zone for me to live in Lebanon, I would go tomorrow. I hope you had a long and peaceful life. Well, thank you. You too, Anonymous. I love that name. I love plays on words. Okay, all men executed by the organization in 2015. We don't know what we've got here. Medical bodies and officials in the martyrs in May. The Iraqi authorities mass graves which belong to civilians and soldiers executed by the militants. That's when they took over Ramadi. And they were able to restore all of Anbar in 2016. Yeah, so there you go. That's basically, this is the type of news you get every day. You know, when you watch American news or whatever, you're like, there was a car chase, there was this, You know, there was some random terrorist. Here it's like mass graves, you know, people arresting people's relatives. So yeah, I can tell you about that. I remember once my uncle was arrested by the Syrians because it was a friend of his. He didn't even know this person, but supposedly this person was like against the Syrian regime for a crime from 30 years ago. They will kill him once he's there. Well, maybe he should go to Nineveh and stay under the protection of the Syriac Orthodox Church. The other problem with Middle Eastern Christians is that they're not very weaponized. Only the Maronites and the Jews, I think, are the only two. And the Jews obviously are brilliant at it, but the Maronites are sort of okay. The Maronites all sort of carry weapons. All right, what else have we got? Oh crap! They're showing photos of the mass grave. Oh, that's not pretty. Maybe your uncle should try and travel to Europe. Oh, they've been trying for years. They couldn't get out. Yeah, I'm going to go as well. All right. So I think someone else asked me before why. No worries, Pastora. You have a beautiful day. Someone else asked me why do Arab Christians hate Israel, which is quite common. You too. You think he's trying? Well, tell him once he gets back to Iraq, tell him to sneak into Lebanon as a refugee if he can make it past ISIS in Syria. Anyway, yeah, if we had more people, I'd probably talk about why Arab Christians hate Israel. And it's obviously not everyone, but there is a massive anti-Semitic strain that runs through Arab Christians. And that's our news for the day. I am now going to head off and wish you all the best. I hear ISIS is at the airport waiting. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Well, it's, yeah, I don't know. Sacrificing for grandchildren. Yeah, crazy stuff. Well, apart from that, it's a beautiful day out here. You know, I like to end the news on a happy note. Yeah, take care to you guys as well. Remember, Gab smacked where remaining silent is not an option.